What's up, guys? If you notice, one, I'm dressed up. Two, not at the Rad Ranch. So we're at my parents' house. Back here to check on the race car. So, those of you that have been following along with my junk before the channel, this is my 1979 RX-7 full beans rally car that I built a couple of years ago. Went and raced it a couple times first year. Just got busy with moving and all that stuff. So it stays at my parents' house because it gets to stay under a roof. It's a pretty nice setup. So it's a 79 GSLSE suspension, rear diff, so it's a locker. It has a RX-8 6-speed transmission, 488 Mazda race rear gear set. So it's really short gearing. It does not go very fast. It's relatively slow. Like 65 on the interstate or on the highway is like 5,500 RPM. So, but with that 6-speed, you just you're always in the power. It actually has the stock 12A that was in my silver car with a Holley carburetor on it, and it's all sorts of fancy up under the hood, so I can pop like half of it for you. But home for my sister's graduation. So there you go. You can kind of see some goodness under there. So got a bias bar, brake setup, modern distributor like the one with the J109 igniters on it. Got a Series 5 FC alternator on there on power mount lights. There's a fuel filter, like one of those really cool old school big fuel filters mounted behind that regulator. You can see the gauge on the right. This car does have a 10 or 8-point cage, so the cage is tied in all the way up here through the back, which I can show you better whenever it's not here, but I wanted to give you a little look at it. So Calvin on his next trip down, which thanks to him, he hauls a lot of my stuff from my parents' house to the ranch for me whenever I need it, because, well, I used to live here for a while and now I live by myself. So, but he's gonna haul this one down next. We're gonna try to do some fun stuff in the yard and all that. And this car runs and drives like it's pretty much good to go. It's got a little funkiness with the front suspension, but other than that, it's sick. So flames, rotor muffler, the whole deal. It's just been sitting for a little bit because I've got other projects. So back to the Rad Ranch. What's up, Rad potential YouTube followers? Apologize for not getting a video put up on Tuesday, but holiday weekend, didn't do anything super crazy productive that y'all would want to see, so no video. However, we're not at the Rad Ranch today. We're at the Rotary Daddy's house, Charles' house. He's upstairs finishing up working for the day, playing with this. So Charles is a guy that puts together turbo first gens. So you saw Death Trap, which I can't get the hood of this open right now, so give me a second. You open the hood. Alright, there we go. We're back. So, just like Death Trap, Turbo 2 Squad first gen, stock S-Spike turbo, unopened keg from Mazda, running on Haltech. Well, if y'all remember at the Gap, we had a car break down a couple times because of the ignition switch. So this is the car that the ignition switch died. So you can see the carnage we got coming through here. So basically, up in here, there's these 4 plugs right there. So this is another one that Charles bought to replace it with. This right now is currently how we have it set up to start. So we put a switch in, that turns on your power, and when you touch these two together, it starts. So we gotta fix that first today. Also have to fix, when we were messing with it, getting it apart, you can see pulled this wire out right here, and this is the trunk popper button. So I need to trace down where that came out of and patch it back together. Just a few things to do. The other thing that we're probably going to be working on today is, if y'all remember in the last video or 2 videos ago, whatever, we pulled this motor out of that wide FC that's out there, the right hand drive. And I know the light is making my camera super mad, so bear with me. So Charles got it apart, got some parts off of it. I don't think, oh, I guess he does have the rear iron apart. So it broke some apex seals on the rear rotor. Well, if you recall, my third video or something a while back. What's up, Charles?
What's up?
How are you?
Good.
We're videoing things.
Oh, sweet.
Because I can, since I'm here, I have to video something. Because I got to make a video for tomorrow, right? So.
Yep, exactly.
Anyways, when I blew up the rally car, I only blew up the rear rotor, and when this motor came apart, I only blew up the rear rotor. So we have extra apex seals, new ones. So we're gonna fiddle with that a little bit today. So for now, we're gonna work on the white car. Or I'm just gonna unplug everything and plug the new stuff in. It's super easy.
Paper towels.
All right, y'all. Looking for parts, but new ignition switch is in. We had to dent the corners of it down because this piece was wiggling a little bit, so the plastic pops out and there's contacts in there that spin when you turn the key. So the actual switching mechanism is not what is fitted to the key. The lock cylinder fits the key. So that stayed with the car, nothing changed. This all plugged back in because we didn't harm any of the original harness, and we've hooked the trunk latch back up to the, to the hot power here. So now, just gotta button all this stuff up, make sure it's good, and we'll be ready to rock. So, I'm trying to find the other half of the clamshell. Isn't it funny what electrical tape does when it gets hot?
Whoa, that's about broke off.
Stuff goes crazy. Oh yeah, sweet shift knob too. So, next project, which I forgot to turn the camera on, but I kind of figured it out already. So, putting a aftermarket radio, 2004 RX-8, using the Metra radio install kit. Popular thing to like interface your radio with, yeah, let's just grab this. Popular thing to interface your radio with the stock steering wheel controls as I get distracted with other stuff. So, look at all this mess of radio stuff. So, what we've figured out, I figured it out, thank you RX-8 Club forums, is that when you wire this kit up, it doesn't hook up the factory amp, so you have to tell the factory amp to turn on, because if you don't tell that amp to turn on, you get no sound, which is what Charles was experiencing with this car. So basically what was happening was the aftermarket radio would play noise to the speakers, but those signals go into this amplifier and then they get redistributed out, and that amplifier wasn't being turned on. So we're going to use the remote wire off the back of the radio, which is normally what you would use when hooking up a sub or any sort of other amplifier in the in the back of the car. So basically what that would do is whenever you tell the radio to say, hey, we're using an external subwoofer, click, it would send 12 volts to that output. So what we're going to do is I'm going to find the wire in the Metra kit. So there's a harness right here. This pink harness is from the Metra kit, so that's what all these extra wires are sticking up for. And then you splice all that stuff in with your radio like this. So these are all your speaker wires, this is your power, ground, illumination wire, so when you turn your lights on it dims it, etc. So I'm going to hook up the remote wire from the back of the radio, which I think is this blue one. Antenna control, steering wheel remote input, Pecan, I don't know. The remote wire from the radio will go into that. Or should have power. Then we'll button all this back up. So, more to come. We've been figuring things out. So, come to find out, with the steering wheel control box, you got to program it and map it to all the buttons. So we did all that. Then we weren't getting a signal to the radio and it wasn't working. So it comes with this little data signal wire here that plugs into the back of the radio, or, and it says or on the instructions, or you can use the radio signal wire. Well, on the JVC, I guess it likes the radio signal and not that. So once we got that hooked up, it finally worked. But alright, we got it all put back together. So we had to hook up the steering wheel controls, which work. We had to jam every single thing from the Metra kit all back in behind this radio, which is super tight. When you do install the Metra kit too, it comes with a new fascia here that has, you take your knobs and stuff out of the old one, put them in the new one, and then the radio is tucked in there nicely. So, kind of a pain, but really not that bad. You will have to hook up, I think as I was getting before my camera died, You will have to hook up the remote wire to turn the amplifier on, otherwise it will not work. So, we had already installed the Bluetooth adapter with the stock radio, so we're going to put this in the green arc state now for Charles since she got the cool stuff. So, now we get to come play with this. Alright, yo. So we've got some little scratches in here. However, it's not on the compression side, so all that's going to do is cause a little more wear on the apex seal. On this side, we're looking pretty good. I mean, I don't think it's not through the chrome. The edge is a little, you can see where the apex seal is contacting in here, but not quite touching the corner. But it's really not too terrible. Not in the compression side as well. And up here in the compression side, everything looks pretty dang good. Up there. So it's just this one little nicked area.
And that's here. Right after the exhaust.
But I think it really doesn't have much in the wake of, if the seal's coming this way, you can't really feel it. Just barely, but not really. I mean, we probably hit it with some 300 grit.
I don't even know if maybe 600.
Yeah, just something light to kind of polish it down a bit.
Yep.
It's really not sharp, but it's a little bit of an edge. Alright, so the housing, we cleaned it up. Didn't have any issues. We ran an apex seal over it, and it didn't catch or anything after a little bit of cleanup, so it's good. No major issues over here. So we reassembled the back side of the rotor, and we're getting ready to put the new apex seals in it, and we're going to, or well, I guess it's the front side of the rear rotor. We're going to finish putting this side together. We got coolant seals back in over here, new O-ring on right there. We're going to get this thing stacked up. Ideally, we just have to find a piece to straighten out these corner seals, because sometimes if the corner seal turns, you'll get your apex seal in there and it won't go all the way down. You have to fish it back out, and then you'll a little stuck. So, next steps. What up, y'all? It's the end of the night. Got some dirt. It's all back together. Stacked it up, torqued it up, put the flywheel on. So, that's all done. That's going to be it for this evening, because it's late and we're tired. And I got to drive home. I don't know why this thing's all glary. So my camera battery died, as you saw earlier in the video, and I'm now videoing from my phone because I didn't bring another camera battery. So we fixed Sheeba, leftover brokenness from the Dragon, which is all good now. We've got Nick's car here, which is the engine we just built, and then we finished putting the radio in the Blue 8. So, super productive night. Got a bunch of stuff done. Now it's time to go home. Thanks for watching. Keep it rad.